Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. My name is Anish Salat. I am working as Assistant Professor in University Institute of Hotel and Tourism Management, Punjab University, Chandigarh. Today, we are going to learn the module Prehistoric Sites, Stonehenge and Cave Paintings from the paper Special Interest Tourism. After completing this module, you will be able to understand the concept of prehistoric sites, understand various types of prehistoric sites, know the concept of Stonehenge and cave paintings, and understand the role of prehistoric sites in the development of tourism. Let us begin. Ancient times implies truly prehistory, from the Latin word before. Human ancient times is the period from the time that behaviorally and anatomically current people initially show up until the presence of written history taking after the creation of composing frameworks. Since both the season of settlement of present day people and the advancement of human civic establishments contrast from local to area, ancient times begins the closures at various minutes in time contingent upon the district concerned. It was first utilized as a part of 1830s by a French excavator, Paul Tournal. It was first utilized as a part of English by Daniel Wilson in 1851. Sumer of Mesopotamia, the Indus Valley Civilization and Old Egypt were the primary civilizations to build up their own scripts and to keep authentic records. This occurred as of now amid the early Bronze Age. Neighboring civic establishments were the first to take after. Most different human advancements achieved the finish of ancient times amid the Iron Age. Let us understand the concept of prehistoric sites. Prehistoric sites are an ancient site that can be and large, characterized as a place where human movement happened and materials were deserted. Ancient locales are those at which such exercise happened before the approach of composed records. An assortment of sorts of destinations are spoken to inside the ancient archaeological stocks. Locales involved for just brief spans of time are amid particular circumstances of the year can be named transitory camps. Others have a specific utilized are recognized as uncommon region destinations, while those possessed year-round may be named changeless towns. Now let us understand the different types of prehistoric sites. Reed et al. In 1986 had identified classes of archaeological site type. Residential bases. These locales contain relics, characteristics of repairing of different common assets and remains of genuinely long length. They may contain proof of homes, storerooms, hearths, and an expansive curio stock including non-versatile things like overwhelming crushing stones and stoneware, and variable little apparatus sorts from short focuses to straightforward used drops. Site stratigraphy can be anticipated to be designed and moderately complex in both vertical and even measurements. These destinations ought to be arranged inside short separation of numerous covering asset exhibitions, including access to water, kindling, shielded area, and high thickness groups of plant and creature assets. Field camps, those locales could conceivably contain littler scale antique gatherings practically identical to those anticipated for private bases. Field camps are characterized as being on a littler scale than the private bases, as having less individuals, including for the most part, and maybe reflecting more particular exercises. These locales will frequently reflect extracting of single instead of different assets. They will incorporate chasing camps where amusement was butchered and softly prepared, seed assembling camps where plant parts were diminished and handled for simple transport, and great angling areas where fish may be filleted and dried for pulling back to a private base. Field camps will have less designed site structure with less cases of expand social elements past straightforward herds. Repetitive visits will tend to make occupations hard to characterize and will bring about thick churro fixations and minimal articulated bunching reflecting worldly or utilitarian contrast in the array. These destinations ought to be arranged inside genuinely guide closeness to be assets being tapped regularly with less worry for excess of water, kindling or protected area. Procurement locations. These destinations will contain confirmation of centered extraction of solitary vital asset and ought not reflect remains of any term. There will be no confirmation of preparing past that required for prompt extraction and transport to a field camp, and no proof of outdoors action reflected in elements like herds. Quarry zones for acquirement of stone to work into devices and chasing locals, exemplified in broken shot. Focuses and light contained dissipates of basic catalysts. Apparatus like used drops will command this site sought. It is normal that plant extraction destinations and angling locales will be difficult to perceive just on the grounds that relic stock to acquire these assets is profoundly perishable and endures little misfortune in the excavative procedure. These destinations ought to be situated on the asset being removed with no worry at all. For water, kindling or safe house, aside from as these may correspond with the circulation of normal asset exhibits. Caches reserve destinations are characterized as separated stockpiling districts for noteworthy crude and completed assets. They may not be in direct relationship with whatever other site sought. These destinations may comprise of designed social components like arranged gaps or cysts, or they might be essentially characteristic elements like hole or little shades in shake dividers. Social setting provided in constrained, clear designing of these locales can be precious, since it speaks to discrete, ancient or memorable movements with social materials, safeguarded in significant, fleeting and practical affiliation. Ancient rarity collections will naturally demonstrate little fluctuation inside each storage, yet the range crosswise over reserved destinations could demonstrate a wide scope of monetary and social or ideological exercises. Experience of these locales can be judged to be occasional, given their little size and ancient and notable endeavors to cloud their area. Disintegrated banks along the store and shake continences or zones of expansive tumbled stone ought to be routinely scoured for these sort of elements. Stations. These locales are characterized as data social affair and data transmittal areas like vantage, focus, cairns or Sheikh workmanship faces. Compact ancient rarities might be found and some confirmation of outdoors may be washed. Yet, when all is said and done, these locals will be softly set apart by relic affiliations and will have a tendency to have clear corresponds with scene qualities. Now let us study the meaning and characteristics of cave paintings. In ancient workmanship, the expression given painting envelopes any parietal craftsmanship, which includes the utilization of shading colors on the dividers, floors, or roofs of old shake covers. A monochrome given painting is a photo made with just a single shading, generally dark. For example, the monochrome pictures of Chauvet. A polychrome given painting comprises of at least two hues as exemplified by the superb multi-hued pictures of buffalo on the roof of Altamira or the heavenly orators in the chamber of bulls of Lescaut. Interestingly, the expression given drawing alludes just to an engraved drawing, that is one made by cutting lines in the stone surface with a rock or stone device, instead of one made by drawing lines with charcoal or manganese. Let us identify the different types. The greater part of ancient surrender works of art were metaphorical and 99% of these were of creatures. To the beginning with Stone Age specialists painted predator creatures nearly as frequently as amusement creatures like buffalo and reindeer. Yet from the Sultan time onwards, symbolism was commanded by diversion creatures. Pictures of people were a particularly uncommon event and were generally very adapted and far less naturalistic than the creature figures. Unique symbolism was additionally normal and really involves the most seasoned kind of Paleolithic craftsmanship found in holes of late Stone Age, as appeared by late dating outcomes on artistic creations at El Castillo and Altamira. Notwithstanding figure painting and theoretical symbolism, ancient holes are likewise vigorously designed with painted hand stencils, Sheikh craftsmanship, the majority of which, as indicated by late research by Dean Snow of Pennsylvania State University, were made by females, yet men and kids were additionally included. A portion of the best cases of these type of painting are Gargas cave hand stencils, the panel of hand stencils at Chauvet, and the prints all through the Cueva de las Manos in Argentina. Now we shall discuss about the three stages of cave paintings. Ordinarily, a polychrome surrender painting was made in three fundamental stages, which may change essentially as per the experience and social development of craftsmanship. The nature and shape of stone surface, the quality and kind of light, and the crude materials accessible. Take a photo of buffalo, for example. In the first place, the diagram and fundamental elements of the creature are drawn on the given divider, either by scarring the surface of stone with honed stone or by applying a dark blueprint utilizing charcoal or manganese. Second, the finished drawing of the creature would be hued or filled in with red, ochre or different colors. Third, the edges of creature's body would be shaped with dark or another color to expand its three-dimensionality. On the other hand, contingent upon regardless of whether the shape of the give-in divider made it essential, extra etching or notwithstanding chiseling would be connected to lift volume and elevation. Where are most cave paintings located? The most spectacular examples of this rock art have been discovered in southwestern France and northern Spain. Hence, it is sometimes referred to as Franco-Cantabrian cave art, where archaeologists have found some 350 caves containing Upper Paleolithic artworks. The largest cave cluster are in Dordogne and around Monte Castillo in the district of Piento Vescovo, Cantabria. But other magnificent decorated caves have been found in various parts of the world, including South Africa, Argentina, India, China, Australia and elsewhere. Next, there can be a question: which are the oldest cave paintings? At present, the Stonehenge craftsmanship is ancient give-in, whose dates of inception have been validated by radiocarbon dating, comprises of theoretical signs to be specific, a red spot and an imprint found among the El Castillo give-in works of art in Cantabria, Spain. These pictures have been dated to no less than 39,000 BCE and 35,500 BCE individually, making them the most established craft of their sort from collapsed Europe. Be that as it may, in 2014, in Indonesia, on the opposite side of the world, archaeologists utilized uranium thorium dating method to date hand stencils made the pictures found at Liang Timsung Cave, Sulawesi, to 37,900 BCE. Next in age comes the Fuman Cave pictures. Then two claviform images found in Altamira dated 34,000 BCE. The following most seasoned artworks are those in Chauvet Cave arranged in Ardic local of France. They were found in 1994 and date from 30,000 BCE. The most beneficial times of surrender craftsmanship were Gravettian and Magdalenian societies dating from 25,000 to 20,000 BCE and 15,000 to 10,000 BCE individually. Note, many caverns contain confirmation of rehashed painting here and there, reaching out more than a huge number of years. In this way, some of these surrender studios might be observed to be more seasoned than initially suspected. This is precisely what occurred at Altamira, where the principal assortment of craftsmanship is Magdalenian. Yet, late tests demonstrated that one specific conceptual picture goes back to Organesian time around 34,000 BCE. Next, let us learn about the famous caves containing Stone Age paintings. First, in Europe, Franco-Cantabrian ancient surrender painting is presumably more popular than whatever other convention of parietal workmanship around the globe. Here are the district's most unclaimed improved hollows. The Auditorium and the Rake Chatan caves in Madhya Pradesh, central India have as of late been found to contain the world's most established known couple workmanship. As container-like spaces etched on hard quartzites, going once more into the lower Paleolithic period. For points of interest and photographs, see Bhimbetek, Petroglyphs and Darke Chatan caves art. Another imperative site of Stone Age workmanship in India is Bhimbetka Rock Shelters, an UN World Heritage Site, which was referred to Indian archaeologists as ahead of schedule as 1888. Situated in the region of Madhya Pradesh, south of Bhopal at the edge of Vindhyachal slopes. These sites contain the most punctual hints of human life in India, in spite of the fact that its stone craftsmanship is around 9,000 years of age, highlighting a large group of various scenes: chasing, moving horses, riding elephants, riding creature battles, essential scenes and so forth, and subjects like buffaloes, tigers, lions, wild hogs, elephants, impals, pooches, reptiles, crocodiles, all generally painted in red and white with periodic utilization of green and yellow. The photos traverse the majority of Mesolithic and Neolithic times of Stone Age, and in addition the Bronze, Iron and later medieval ages. African craftsmanship incorporates a portion of the world's most old workmanship, including whole artwork. The most established African Sheikh craftsmanship was found in Blombos caves, not a long way from Cape Town. It includes various geometric inscriptions on two little bits of ochre-hued stone and dates from 70,000 BCE. For points of interest, the photographs please observe Blombos cave art. A progression of geometric and creature pictures engraved or painting on 7 stone chunks have been found at Apollo 11 caves in Huns Mountains, Namibia, dating to 25,000 BCE. Subtle elements see Apollo 11 cave stones. Unusually, the pictures painted in charcoal, red, ochre and white were painted onto the pieces at an alternate area and afterward conveyed to given. Specialists think of them as an early model of tribal workmanship. Australian natives were in charge of all the mainland's Paleolithic craftsmanship. The most established customs of Aboriginal craftsmanship accepted the date from 30,000 BCE in spite of fact that this is unverified. Incorporate Kimberley Sheikh workmanship, Ubir Sheikh craftsmanship, Arnhem Land, Northern Territory and Burrup Peninsula Sheikh workmanship. Later works incorporate the Bradshaw depictions, now called Guyana workmanship, dating from 15,500 BCE at Kimberley, Western Australia. Be that as it may, the most seasoned craftsmanship in Australia is Nwarla Kabarnung rock shelter charcoal drawing, which was cell-based, dating to 26,000 BCE. The Cueva de las Manos caves of the hands at Rio de las Pinturas, Argentina, home of the most established surrender painting in Americas. The most seasoned paintings dating from the time of Mesolithic workmanship around 9000 BCE contain many hand stencils painted in red high contrast shades. Later, pictures incorporate works of art of creatures, chasing scenes and complex conceptual examples. Investigations of their buckle craftsmanship, designed and improved bones, stones and shakes by archaeologists and different researchers have uncovered a workmanship that created from oversimplified early structures to definite exact figures more than a few sequential periods. The specialists started by drawing basic diagrams of little creatures. Afterward, they grew bigger creatures and filled in creatures' bodies with red or dark paint. Lastly, they drew huge creatures, washed over the creatures' bodies with gritty tones of darker or dark, and itemized the creature's life structuring with thick shading. Southeast Asia, Sheikh canvases having likewise been found in Thailand, the Phetchabun range of central Thailand and in Nakhon Swan, Malaysia, in Perak and in the painted cave of Niha Caves, and Indonesia in Sang Kulirang territory of Kalimantan. Late finds in the Maros Pangap gives in on an Indonesian island of Sulawesi demonstrate that a portion of most seasoned craftsmanship on the planet was made by transients island bouncing towards Australia. These finds recommend that cutting-edge man's imaginative capacity did not rise fortuitously over the world, but rather was produced the cleared out Africa around 80,000 BCE. Now we will discuss the role of prehistoric sites in the development of tourism. Probably the most deductively and truly vital, stylishly stupendous and well-known archaeological world heritage sites have seen sensational increment in quantities of guests over late decades. The ICOMOS International Scientific Committee on Archaeological Heritage Management (ICAM) has started assessments of how significantly expanded appearance has influenced authentic and logical qualities at 4 such pre-prominent destinations: Petra, Maku, Piku, Pompeii and Angkor, and the social and financial conditions in adjacent groups. Our preparatory discoveries demonstrate that deficiently directed and oversaw tourism has undermined the exceptional widespread estimation of some of it, not all, of these destinations, and that the uneven consideration paid to the financial banquet of tourism has not propelled the plan of the World Heritage Convention, yet rather debilitates it. At numerous archaeological World Heritage sites, worldwide media have detailed noteworthy crumbling of site texture or social interruptions that have been connected to over-appearance. Advance, while much has been made of the monetary advantage to nations in which archaeological World Heritage sites are found, preparatory research by ICAM has yielded just a narrative science of the size of such advantage and no dependable information with respect to the gatherings to which profit has collected. In any case, at each of these locales, tourism has been advanced through ventures made by universal help programs including USAID and JICA, and some host nations have been the beneficiaries of credits from loaning establishments. For example, the World Bank and Inter-American Development Bank. We fight that archaeological destinations and scenes include a sort of social asset that must be overseen in extraordinary routes to save logical and chronicled values. Let us summarize. When you separate the word ancient, it's anything but difficult to make sense of what it implies. The prefix pre signifies before and memorable identifies with something from the past culture. Assemble the two and you get ancient, a word that depicts something that originates from a period before history was recorded. For instance, Stonehenge is an ancient site, or the woolly mammoth is an ancient monster. An ancient site can be, for the most part, characterized as a place where human development happened and materials were deserted. Ancient destinations are those at which such exercises happened preceding the appearance of composed records. An assortment of sorts of destinations are spoken to inside the ancient archaeological stock destinations, involved for just brief spans of time or amid particular circumstances of the year, can be named impermanent camps. Others, having a specific utilize, are distinguished as uncommon reason destinations, while those occupied year-round may be named perpetual towns. Cave artworks, otherwise called parietal craftsmanship, are painted drawings on surrender dividers or roofs, essentially of ancient birthplace to somewhere in the range of 40,000 years prior in Eurasia. The correct motivation behind the Paleolithic surrender depictions is not known. Proof recommends that they were not just beautifications of living territories, since the collapse which they have been found don't have indications of progressing home. They are additionally regularly situated in zones of hollows that are not effectively available. A few hypotheses hold that buccal sketches may be a method for speaking with others, while different speculations attribute a religious or formal reason to them. The artistic creations are astoundingly comparable around the globe, with creatures being basic subjects that give the most amazing pictures. People predominantly show up as pictures of hands, generally hand stencil, made by blowing color on a hand held to the divider. Stonehenge is an ancient landmark to Wiltshire, England, 2 miles west of Amberley and 8 miles north of Salisbury. Stonehenge comprises of ring of standing stones, with each standing stone around 4.1 meter high, 2.1 meter wide and weighing around 25 tons. The stones are set inside earthworks amidst the densest complex of Neolithic and Bronze Age landmarks in England, including a few hundred entombment hills. Archaeologists trust it was built from 3000 BC to 2000 BC, the encompassing around earth bank and discard, which constitute the soonest period of landmark, have been dated to around 31,000 BC. Radiocarbon dating recommends that the principal blue stones were raised in the vicinity of 2400 to 2200 BC, in spite of the fact that they may have been at the site as right on time as 3000 BC. In the end, I would like to say that for hundreds of years, antiquarians and archaeologists have thought about the numerous riddles of Stonehenge, the ancient landmark that took Neolithic manufacturers an expected 1500 years to erect. Situated in southern England, it has involved approximately 100 monstrous upright stones set in a roundabout format. While numerous advanced researchers now concur the Stonehenge was previously a graveyard, they still can't seem to figure out what different purpose it served and how a development without present-day innovation or even the wheel delivered the forceful landmark. Thank you.